Today I'll be showing you the Pentax FA 31mm f1.8. It's nice all aluminum casing, integrated lens hood. The lens hood is designed for full frame cameras, so you have to take that into account when because Pentax only has the APS-C cameras right now. It does make a sound when it rotates. Otherwise it's really smooth. You can operate it with a single finger. On the back end, of course, it's got a metal mount with contacts for all the automatic settings. Aperture lever. The blades themselves, they're not rounded. It also has an aperture ring. You can adjust the aperture manually or put it into the automatic setting. That's metal. Nice, everything's machined. The labels are engraved and painted. All the text here, it's got the name of the lens, it's got the focal length, and also, where is the serial number on the back, which is great to have a fully engraved serial number on the lens. Comes with a nice cap, machined aluminum, of course, with the FA line. They really want to make everything the classic retro yet high quality feel to it. It's got the green felt inside. This is one of the newer FA limiteds. It means it was assembled in Vietnam instead of Japan. They no longer have the assembly plants in Japan. So, however, quality wise, the sharpness, there really isn't a difference. There was said to be a slight difference with the earlier made in Vietnams, but mine's a later one. It's really sharp. It seems good, so I haven't had a problem with mine. A few quirks that I'll point out. You can see that the front element in this area here, it does move as you focus. It's not fully internal focus. The front, there is a slight amount of movement to it. It's just with, I assume there's certain tolerances that need to be fit. Put it close to the microphone. So there is a little bit of movement. That's normal. The lens hood's a little frustrating at times, because it is full frame. You won't have the coverage that you need to avoid some of that additional light that you don't want in the photo. It uses 58mm filters. I have a Hoya Super HMC. I also noticed the front element of the lens and the filter. You have to make sure that there's some room there, otherwise they'll actually touch. This curves out quite a bit, and the filter thread's really close to the front of the lens. Try to get some detail on that later. But the Hoya HMC, they have a nice gap in the back of the filter, which works out nicely for this lens. I had bought a few other ones in the past and they just didn't work out. I have a Pentax K7 here with the 31mm f1.8. I'm going to put that on the camera so you can get an estimation of size. The focus ring is not quick shift, so it locks into place when it's in autofocus. To undo that, you'll have to switch your camera to manual and you'll get full manual focus. It's one of the negatives of this lens. You can see it's nice size for this camera. Got good grip area to it. It's not too heavy. I'll do some autofocus. It's a pretty quick lens. It uses the screw mechanism inside. Here's the FA 31mm lens in detail. front here we've got the engraved lettering for focal distance, aperture, the focus ring here, as well as the aperture ring. Press this button down, you can get out of the A setting. Pull the button down again, it locks into place. Engraved text here. The integrated hood defines where you slot in the lens to the camera. So it has the orange dot. Here's the back. Nice metal mount. Back element, it's pretty large as it's a full frame. Aperture lever. Here is the screw drive mechanism. See that rotate? And all of your lens contacts to a full 360 on the lens. Let's look at the front element. Nice and large. So as mentioning earlier, the thread mounts for the filter are pretty close. If your filter doesn't have enough room in the back, it'll be touching the front element of the lens after you screw it on. Inside here, it's nice felt. It's a little difficult to keep clean, but helps lessen reflections. Just fits into place with friction. Pretty tight seal on it. Here is the FA 31mm f1.8's aperture. At minimum aperture you can see it's not perfectly rounded. My particular lens aperture blades must be off slightly. So let's cycle the aperture a little bit. See that it's a little better as it gets larger. To about that point, looks pretty good. And of course at full maximum aperture you've got a perfectly rounded circle. That's beneficial in your background blur if you have strong point source lights. Selectable aperture. Here's 1.8. Let's go down one notch between 1.8 and 2.8. And there's 2.8, 5.6, 8, 16, and 22. You can really see the blades from the back. We've got 9 blades. So you have to ask yourself, is the 31mm right for you? And also you want to consider quite an expensive lens. You've got some DA star lenses like the 300mm f4 that are slightly more expensive, but not too many currently offered Pentax lenses match this one in the price. You could buy quite a few kit lenses just for one of these. You want to think, okay, it's a prime lens. That means I'm stuck at one focal length. 31mm, I think it's one of the better focal lengths, especially on APS-C. That makes it quite a normal lens, approximately 46mm or so. That's pretty good. You can get some decent photos throughout the range. Like I go to conventions a lot, and just this lens for the whole convention. I take photos of people in costumes and all that. I mean, I got the K5 or K7, the Sigma flash, and the 31. That's all I need. Of course, it won't work for situations where you say you want to take photos of an event. You're in the stands, you're quite a distance away. This lens is not going to work for you, of course. So if you're limited in budget, you got, say, the price of one of these. You don't have a telephoto lens. I'd say go for 2 lenses instead of just the 31. But you're looking for high sharpness, good throughout the image. You know, the corners are nice and sharp, even at maximum aperture. Great background blur. It's a great lens, even for the price, I think.